It's the cold hard truth. Everyone really want to know what's going on with her show. Just get on the air and you will know it's Sandra. The queen of the mile road is here, helping people from everywhere. Get on the phone and you will hear Sandra. Now she will tell you how it goes, but don't you ever step on her toes, 'cause you will hear the cold hard truth from Sandra. They say she's the hero in town, helping people from all around. You get a call, your money is found, it's Sandra. Some will call her late at night just to say that there is a fight, and she will not just leave it alone. She'll get up and call on the phone, and when politics starts on her show, everyone really wants to know the way the things will really go with Sandra. Some will start to criticize, get on the show and tell pure lies, but someday we'll realize it's Sandra. When they start to argue again, she'll pull the heads to the wind, and soon you will be a friend with Sandra. 'Cause every day everyone wanna hear from Sandra. Every day everyone wanna hear from Sandra. 'Cause every day everyone got to hear from Sandra. 'Cause every day everyone got to hear from Sandra.
Good morning, good morning, good morning. Happy Tuesday, everyone. Big shout out to our Instagram folks. They're up bright and early. We've got YouTube, Facebook, cmrtv.com, 103.1 Bobo. We are on a roll. Hope that everyone is having a fantastic week thus far. Of course, today's Tuesday. That means we've got special guests in the studio. So we're going to get started with them here shortly. And of course, I will be updating the show links. So just give me a minute to do that. And woo, lots of controversy swirling all over the place still about the Super Bowl and the implications of that. So we're certainly going to be talking about that a little bit later on. Yeah, so lots going on, but let's go ahead and get started with our guests who are here to talk about a pretty important topic today with World Cancer Day, something that, none of us, I think, can ignore. At some point in our lives, the vast majority of us will be touched by cancer in some way or another. And that will mean either we will have a firsthand personal experience with it, or we will have one of our loved ones who has to go through that journey. And we want to ensure, obviously, that we're there for our loved ones with as much accurate information as possible. And, knowing about the treatment options that are also available. So as we say, always, knowledge is power. And we want to ensure that we're in the know for both ourselves and the larger community. So let's go ahead and welcome Shamari Scott first onto the program. He needs no introduction. He's our own little celebrity here every single week, but he is the chief business officer at Health City, Cayman Islands. Good morning, sir. How are you?
Good morning, Sandy. How are you doing?
I'm good. I'm good. So before we get into today's topic, of course, we have to inquire about your weekend.
Oh, weekend was fabulous.
Weekend.
Amazing weekend. So now, as you were mentioning the Super Bowl, right? Now, obviously, I'm a Miami Dolphins fan, as everybody knows. So the game itself was not the best for most people, but for me, it was the best. I prefer a boring Super Bowl where the New England Patriots lose versus an exciting Super Bowl. Anytime it's exciting and they're involved, they find a way to cheat to win. So,
oh my goodness,
there was no cheating available. No balls that were deflated. There was no spying on the opposite team to know all of their signals. So, the right team won, and I am very, very, very happy. Able to celebrate that New England lost. So
wow,
it was a wonderful Super Bowl. and I know you're going to get into the controversy. I don't understand all the controversy, but I love the halftime show. I thought it was amazing. All of the storytelling, where as a Caribbean person, you couldn't have excitement seeing the sugarcane field and seeing men playing dominoes than and a small child sleeping on a table at a wedding. Then I don't know. But I thought the storytelling, even if you couldn't understand the words, I mean, at the end of the day, when we have soca songs and reggae songs that the world adopts, half of the people, if not more, don't understand what anybody's saying anyway, right? I thought it was amazing.
Well, we're going to be going back.
It's lost, so it was a 10 on 10 on 10 for me.
Oh my goodness, we're going to be going back through it, because I tell you what, I watched it, the halftime show, and then I realized I actually missed a lot, so I had to go back and watch it again a couple more times to bring myself up to speed for today's discussion. So that's my research. But the more I watch it, the more I appreciate all of the elements that were actually involved. And so we're going to be discussing some of that a little bit later on in today's program. But I'm glad that you enjoyed it. And your Super Bowl party was a hit, as always.
Well, I mean, I've been having Super Bowl parties for a while, ever since I took a break after college, because I was living with my parents for a few years. So you can't be too raucous when you have to take that outside the house. So ever since I got back, I've been having, and it's grown over time as my friend group has grown, and all of the football fanatics, came over. It was a great group, and once again, the Patriots lost. I have a few friends that are fake Patriot fans, so they were able to. They had dusted off their jerseys. They hung them up, and they became Chiefs fans or some other fans. The Philly has some real fans, but then there were also some that would just put on the jersey. But they dusted off their New England jersey, and they were able to come out. So it was great to see their agony in defeat. I loved it.
Fantastic. So,
But Sandy, as you said, we are here today. February 4th is World Cancer Day, and we'll be bringing in Dr. Vikas, who is our senior consultant for radiation oncology right here in the Cayman Islands. And he'll be able to explain what that is, why that's important, and when somebody potentially may need the different various types of treatment that we would have at Health City. He has a decade and a half of specialist experience in regards to being a senior consultant for us for radiation oncology, but he specializes in head, neck, brain, prostate, as well as GI tumors. He is proficient in stereotactic radiosurgery and image guiding radiotherapy, and he's treated more than 2,500 cases in that regard in his career. So he has a breadth of knowledge and experience. And prior to Health City bringing the Gene Thompson Radiotherapy Center, individuals would have to fly overseas in order to get this module of treatment, and that this is one of the gaps that we would have filled, both for the Cayman Islands, but also for those persons surrounding in the Caribbean, Central America, that would not be able to afford the type of radiotherapy that is offered here in the States.
Mm-hmm.
This
Mm-hmm.
gives them that other option. When we talk about medical tourism, a lot of times people don't realize that if you don't have it in your country and if you don't have insurance, and even with insurance, some have lower caps, you're not able to afford this higher level of treatment, and people just go without. That was the solution a lot of times. So we're definitely helping to fill the gap, make it cost effective so that more people can gain experience of this treatment when needed from the Caribbean. And obviously, we're offering it at home as well. And Dr. Vikas is a great professional that we're so happy to have as part of our team.
Mm-hmm. Well, is this Dr. Vikas' first time? I feel like it is.
So Dr. Vikas has made a lot of videos.
Yeah.
So I know I see his imagery a lot. So I'm trying to think back if we ever had him on. I think this may be his first time now that you're saying that.
Okay.
Well, let's ask him. I'm not sure.
Yes.
We have so many on that
Hi. Good morning, Sandy, and good morning, Shamari. Yeah,
good morning, Dr. Vikas. How are you? Is this your first time joining us here on the live show?
No, it's a second time. First time we joined somewhere in 2023 May.
Oh, okay.
That time when we started the radiation center, at that time we discussed few things.
Right. Yes.
Yeah. So this is the second time. So I'm not new to the platform. So I
well, thank you. Welcome back.
Yeah.
Well, we need to not make it 3 years again then.
Yeah, definitely.
I know. Exactly.
Definitely.
Dr. Vikas, tell us a little bit. We're going to get into, talking about all the elements here of World Cancer Day. But before we even get there, tell us how the Gene Thompson Radiation Center, how have things been going?
Yeah, so it's a center that deals with the radiation. So we only deal with the radiation here. Yes. And we treat a lot of patients now. So whatever experience that we had initially, we applied here. And we are up with almost all the techniques here now. So right from basics like palliative, from image-guided radiotherapy to VMAT, volume modulated arc therapy, that is the new one. And we have started our stereotactic radiosurgery program and SBRT program too. So a lot of things are already happening in the last 3 years, and we have treated a lot of patients here. And we are looking maybe for 1 or 2 more techniques to offer this year. So hopefully we'll be up soon with that. Yeah. So,
well, that's fantastic. Yes. Yeah, sure. So let's talk a little bit then about World Cancer Day. And as Shamari mentioned, it is observed globally every February the 4th, really seeking to raise awareness, improving education, and encouraging action toward better cancer outcomes. Tell us in particular, because I know radiation oncology is one of the areas that has really taken off, medically in recent years. So tell us a little bit about the advances in cancer treatment, specifically to radiation oncology.
Yeah, we'll touch about this World Cancer Day is we'll celebrate every 4th Feb. And this theme is given by WHO, World Health Organization. And we celebrate on 4th of Feb. And there is always a kind of a theme which is associated with it. So last year, they have given a theme like United by Unique that will go this year and for next year too. So basically united because we have a common goal so that we can early treat, we can give a comfortable care, affordable care, and compassionate care to the patient. And unique because every tumor is a unique, every patient is a unique, their stories are unique. So we should celebrate the uniqueness, and these stories should be heard by everyone. So this is a theme that is given by WHO, and next year also it will go. And this is to celebrate the patient stories. Now coming back to the advances that we have in radiation now, because radiation as a whole, it started somewhere in 1895 when they got the X-rays. But dialing into the future, so in 2010 we started with the early advanced techniques like IMRT and IGRT. And with that, when we because with the radiation we used to treat initially also, but with newer techniques there will be lesser toxicities. So we had the like a win-win in both the situation, when giving the maximum dose and with the minimal toxicity to these to the adjacent structures. So what we did actually in the latest techniques, we are offering radiation only to a particular spot. Like suppose there is a disease like 2 centimeter, 3 centimeter. Initially, we used to give very bigger fields because at that time we didn't have much knowledge about how the tumor will spread and what are the patterns of failure, where it will fail if we'll treat with the radiation. But nowadays we know the patterns on the basis of the data that we have now, because there are million of cases now that being treated with the radiation. So now we have the data and we know if the disease is involving this particular part, suppose breast, it is left upper outer quadrant, we know we have to include the axilla like level 1 or level 2. So it all depends, like, so depending upon the anatomy, so now we can predict, okay, from primary point where the disease will go, and we'll treat that part prophylactically. So instead of now, with the pattern of failures are completely changed and we get very good cure rates with the help of radiation. Radiation as such is not like a work in a isolation. We works along with the other departments. Like suppose medical oncology, they plan some chemotherapy initially just to take care of the systemic thing. But radiation is always a local, and when they give the systemic treatment, we'll treat the local tumor there, and we'll get the very good results. So as a whole, we offer radiation in like a 2 or 3 situation. Like when we are planning something very radically. Suppose surgery is not possible and we want to cure the patient. So in that situation, radiation comes into the role, and it has given almost the same local control rates like surgery. Other condition is when patients they get operated and they come to us, and that time, because surgeon can remove only those things what they can see, but there is always some kind of micro metastatic disease which will be nearby to that primary disease. So we'll sterilize that part with the help of radiation. So whatever tumor cells will be left there, we'll treat that with the radiation. So third situation in which we'll use radiation is a kind of palliative thing, right? So when we need a pain control, suppose patient comes with the tumor mass that is inside the bone, and it is giving some pressure and causing some pain to that by pressing the adjacent nerves. So at that time, we add radiation to take control of the disease, because the moment that mass shrinks, patient will be relieved of the disease, and definitely will give some kind of tumor control also there. So these are like 3 main things that we do with the radiation. But sometimes there are certain situations in which we do radiosurgeries. And that happens when there is because nowadays we are using a lot of chemotherapies, immunotherapies. So what happens, most of like systemically will get very good control, but still there are few spots left that doesn't go with those immunotherapies and chemotherapies. So in those scenarios, we'll offer very high dose of radiation to those spots. So usually we give like a very like 1 or 2 units of like 1.8 to 2 units of radiation, and unit of radiation is gray. So but in these scenarios, we go with very high doses, like maybe 12 gray, 14 gray, 28 gray, that kind of doses. And that is like a ablative doses. And in with those doses, we just kill the cells or burn the cells or ablate the cells in those areas. And the results are similar to the surgeries. So as in the end, it is a very good you can say it's a tool with us which we can just cure the patients.
All right, we're going to get into some more details here. And of course, folks, don't forget that the phone lines are open. So if you have any questions this morning for the good doctor, 936-2626 is the telephone number. Miss Brenda joining us all the way from Antigua, and she says good morning to the good doctor today. So she's happy to be listening to the program. And good morning to Miss Lucille joining us from the UK as well. So cancer remains one of the leading causes of death worldwide, We know that for a fact because there's so many different types of cancers. But of course, survival rates are improving due to early diagnosis and better treatment. And there are now some cancers that we also know, unfortunately, are on the rise lately. But because we have the data that tells us that, we also can start to look at what potentially is causing those increases, and people can make lifestyle modifications because, of course, lifestyle, there are certain things that, will increase your chances of getting cancer. So it's really important to know what those things are. Many cancers now being managed as chronic conditions, with patients living for a much longer time and having much fuller lives. I think that that's so important. It's not necessarily the death sentence that we all fear that it is. Certainly depends on the type of cancer and how early it's caught. And that's, my apologies, one of the key things that you will always hear Health City speaking on is it's important to, know your body, listen to your body, and of course, get routine health checks, because those things will pick up on early diagnosis, and then that gives you a much better fighting chance for sure. Lots of progress in cancer care, driven by a combination of technology, research, and a coordinated care model. So you already heard Dr. Vika saying earlier how, you don't just come in for the radiation. It's a holistic approach that's going to be taken to your well-being, and they'll be working alongside your team to see what other treatments, whether or not you need strengthening in the dietary area, for example, and if other treatments would go and be coordinated with the radiotherapy. So lots going on there. So let's talk about some of the common misconceptions, Doc, when it comes to cancer.
So yeah, the common questions that comes to us is like, see the first line, it's a single disease. So the thing is that the malignancy is like, if we'll find maybe in a breast like two different cancers in the same breast, they will be totally different tumors. So if you check the profile of these tumors, we check the profile, like we'll see the ER status, PR status, like what is the primary histology. So see, within a patient in the same breast, we can find, if we'll find two tumors, they can be like different tumors. So if there are different tumors, we cannot treat with a single management for both those tumors. So we'll give kind of a personalized treatment in those patients, and the personalized treatment is always discussed with other colleagues also. Like we already discussed, there's a comprehensive center, so we'll discuss with our medical oncologist, pathologist, and surgeon. So then we'll come up with some particular kind of thing for that particular patient, so that we can offer him the best possible care. So and let's go to the other example. Suppose in a same patient, like we get one patient in which there is a prostate cancer and the rectal cancers. So there, in the same patient, we are getting the two different cancers, right? So management is not same. And if suppose they are lying very close to each other, so someone can say, okay, we can go ahead with the surgery, but giving such a big surgery to that patient is very difficult, right? So again, the role of multidisciplinary team comes, and we can discuss those cases and we can manage those cases. So basically, it's the thing is that it's not a single disease, and even it's not a single disease, so we need a multiple multidisciplinary things to manage all those things, right? Second thing comes like with the radiation, it's very common that post radiation I'll be radioactive. So I usually explain to the patient, so because this radiation will not going to make you radioactive, so you can go to the family, you can hug the children, you can stay with the family, so there will not be any issue because of this radiation, and this is perfectly safe to the family and the areas which are nearby, so nothing to worry about it. So these are the basically common misconceptions and the questions that comes in to me daily when we'll discuss with the patient, like the management.
Well, we've got another patient of yours in the comment section. Good morning to Takeshi. I believe that's how it's pronounced. Forgive me if I've gotten it wrong. Saying good morning. You took very good care of me at Health City, watching from Antigua as well. So we've got several people here from Antigua. So I have to ask the question, Shamari. Antigua, my apologies, is one of the jurisdictions now in the region where you're getting clients from. Sorry, your mic is off.
See,
There
I
we go.
I forgot I always mute myself.
Yes.
No, no, definitely. So there are quite a few countries in the Caribbean that
Hmm.
on disease profile based on the physician connections that we have there and the insurance companies that we get patients from. Antigua
Hmm.
happens to be one of them. So obviously now myself, where I sit, I won't necessarily know the patients by name. Uh,
Yes.
However, Antigua definitely is one of the Caribbean countries that we see patients across various specialities, and radiotherapy would be one of them as well.
Okay, fantastic. All right. Well, welcome to all of our international listeners to the program. So, we were talking about some of the common misconceptions here. And of course, it's so interesting because I hadn't thought of that when the doctor said, I'm still here learning every day. Every time Health City comes on, and, even other guests, I'm in learning mode. So I enjoy learning. But I was surprised to hear that even when you get a diagnosis of breast cancer, it could be different types of tumors within the same breast, so each one will require a unique treatment module, if you will. So again, who knew? So very, very important discussion here this morning, folks. Radiation therapy does not mean that patients are radioactive. And I think that that's so important because, again, if we don't know these things, we kind of make these assumptions. We've seen movies,
Mm.
where people become radioactive. We think, oh my gosh, that's a reality and that's how it happens. So there's a lot of benefits to having the treatment done locally, including the fact that you mentioned, being able to go home to your family, to continue to have somewhat of a normal routine, work routine, as well as your family and just your life in general is less disrupted because of the having the treatment options available right here in the Cayman Islands. So don't worry. It's not unsafe for you to be around your children or other people, other loved ones. So that's a really good note to make there as well. So of course, we always want to talk about what can we do, right? There is good evidence to show that there are some lifestyle behaviors that we engage in that will substantially increase our risk of obtaining different types of cancers. And I know that the two, quite frankly, well, three, that are always, always on this list. And they're on the top of this list again here today: avoiding tobacco use, limiting alcohol consumption, and maintaining a healthy weight and active lifestyle. Those are the three key components, folks, that if you even did those three, you would be making a significant positive change in your life. And I think at least two out of three are fairly easy to do, And I always tell people, I said, listen, nobody's perfect. We all have our vices. And so maybe this is my philosophy anyway. I'm like, pick one vice. Like if you're going to get something wrong, pick one and then try to work at it 80% of the time. So 80% of the time you're doing pretty good. You might slip up, in that 20% range, but don't have all three vices. Like you can't afford to do all three, right? So you can't be a smoker, you can't be drinking alcohol every single day, and you can't be obese and overweight. Because then that's like a trifecta situation, right? So what do you think, Doc? I mean, it's hard sometimes to tell people to modify their lifestyle when they've grown up used to smoking all the time, eating good Caribbean food. They love a good whiskey here and there. But we know, again, that these things really impact our lives and not a positive
Yeah.
way.
Yeah. So if you look at this slide, so just see the first three, four, or even all five things are preventive, right? So we
Mm-hmm.
can prevent all these five things. So if at any point of time, if we take 100 malignancy patients, so
Yes.
the first three factors like avoiding tobacco use, it is like 30 to 35% of the patients of those 100 will be because of tobacco.
Mm-hmm.
Next, like limiting alcohol consumption, 10 to 50% of the patients, they drink alcohol and they'll get malignancy. So healthy cells will gain like again 10 to 15%. So that means 50 to 55% can be easily preventable if we'll avoid
Mm-hmm.
these things. Second is like if you can see protecting skin from the excessive sunburn. So we know that we are on an island, that
Mm-hmm.
we are exposed to like a sun here, and so we can use like a very good very good sun protection factors. We'll get almost all the lotions now available here, so we can use those.
Mhm.
And regarding the vaccination, so vaccination HPV is already available. Even hepatitis B is also available here. So vaccination is also there. But my point is, so because 50 to 55% of the malignancies are easily preventable, so
Mm,
better will you modify our lifestyle so that it can be easily, so it can be managed actually, right?
mhm.
So we are just producing it by our not a very good lifestyle. So this can be
Yeah.
easily taken care. Yes.
Yes. So I was gonna get to the last one, which is getting vaccinated. This is again to me, quite frankly, a no-brainer. It's easy to do, and vaccinations protect you from so many diseases, but definitely these that are linked to cancers, the HPV and the hepatitis B. All of these vaccines have been in use now for quite some time and have proven to be safe. So please educate yourselves about them, and especially the HPV vaccine when it comes to children and young adults. Have the discussion with your physician and go ahead and get them vaccinated. I do have a question though about the excessive sun exposure. So more and more, we're seeing the research, Doc, that vitamin D plays a critical role in our life in terms of just our overall health and well-being. So we've seen patients who, for example, came down with really chronic COVID, were on death's door, and then their physician had them exposed to the sun, like wheel them out in their bed, and their need for oxygen decreased, and all of a sudden they got better. They recovered from really, really bad cases. And there's lots of research that vitamin D will help you fight off and ward off a lot of disease, helps with your cognitive health. But how do you balance? Because I am suffering from vitamin D deficiency, right? So one option is obviously going out in the sun, but I've been told that I actually have a sun sensitivity. So how do I balance that benefit of getting vitamin D? Because we know the best source of it is actually the sun, versus this potential excessive sun exposure.
So because we work all, we are all doing desk jobs, we all stay inside. So even
Hmm.
if we are staying on island, we'll get like vitamin D deficiency. Even if I'll do today for me also, there will be
Hmm.
vitamin D deficiency. So only thing is like, okay, if there is a deficiency is already been there, so we can just correct it with kind of
Right.
we can give you some, maybe some syrups or maybe some tablets, that kind of thing. But suppose now we are on island, so we what we can do maybe early morning or bit late evening walks, so to
Hmm.
get the good vitamin D. Because there are chances of exposing to the skin if you go in a very hot sun, like, and usually they recommend it should be like, if you are walking, it should happen like before 10 and after 4:30,
Hmm.
because in between there is a very high exposure here. UV exposure is so high that we can get some issues later on. Immediately you can get sunburns, but
Hmm.
later on with follow-up and chronic sun exposures, we can get some malignancies too. So it's
Hmm.
always better to go early morning and late evening walks,
Right.
and with
Okay.
some kind of protection too. Yeah.
Yes. Okay. All right. So it's all about balancing that. And we do have a video this morning that we are going to play here in just a little bit as well, from, one of the numerous testimonials that we have from the patients there at Health City, Cayman Islands. So let's talk a little bit then about understanding modern radiation oncology, because a lot has changed thanks to the technology that is available. And I
Yes.
must say that when I went and did the tour at the Gene Thompson Radiation Center, I was blown away by the advanced technology that is there. So you guys really have the latest and the greatest in terms of the equipment, which makes a huge difference. So walk us through what some of the,
So we have
machines are. Yes.
so we have a linear accelerator here along with the brachytherapy equipments. The image that you are seeing here is like a linear accelerator image. And you can see the guy is lying down on the couch, and there are lasers. These are
Mhm.
laser are just to match, like, suppose what we'll do actually. So when the patient comes to us, we'll prepare a mold kind of thing, and that mold is for immobilization, so that the
Mhm.
patient should not move during radiation. With this immobilization, we'll do one scan like a CT or MRI or PET scan. So on CT scan, we'll map the tumor. Actually, nowadays we can actually see in the CT, and we can map the tumor, and we can map the structures which are very adjacent to those area that we want to spare. So after that, we'll do the beam planning. In beam planning, what we'll do, uh, we'll instruct the system that, okay, the beam should pass through this and from this area, and it should exit from this area. So after a lot of hit and trial, they'll give us a initial plan, and when we get the plan, we'll modify that radiation plan in such a way that maximum dose should be given to the tumor only, and and the plan should be like that we can spare the adjacent structures. So when we'll get that plan, we'll finalize it, and then we'll call the patient for the treatment. On the day of treatment also, we'll do one scan, and these two scans will be fused together. And when we are very sure that we are giving the radiation only to that particular point, we start the radiation. And suppose there are some discrepancies, like in a like example, like CA prostate. When we'll treat CA prostate, sometimes what happens, patient comes with the constipation, and on that day we won't be able to match those scans. So what we'll do on that day, we'll give some microenemas in the hospital, we'll empty the bladder, rectum, and then we'll again take the patient inside. So this is the like how we are using imaging for delivering a better radiation. So with the help of imaging, we can find out what is the issue, we can immediately correct it, and we can give the radiation safely to that area which we want to treat, like tumor in this case. So this is the benefit with the image guidance radiotherapy. So daily we can see what is going on inside. I'll give you one more example. Suppose there are lung cancers which are very sensitive to radiation and chemo, like small cell lung cancer. So what happens when we'll treat them? So after 3 to 4 fractions, we can see in the scan they just reduce in size from 100% to maybe 40 or 50%. So what we'll do, so the day will come to know it has reduced in size. We'll take the patient again back to the CT scan. We'll do the image, we'll make the plan again, and we'll deliver the treatment. So it's like a kind of adaptive radiation. So we are adapting as the tumor is like decreasing in size, or how much percentage is decreasing in size, will decrease the field also. The benefit is that we'll get very lesser toxicity when patient completes the treatment. So this is the benefit of like a adaptive radiotherapy. So one more technique that we use here is like a volume modulated arc therapy, in which patient lies still on the couch and machine moves around the patient, and from each angle it delivers a very small amount of radiation. But when we'll see the resultant radiation field, it will be like a focus to that particular point only where we'll treat, but it will give very lesser dose to the other parts. And with this technique, we can treat the patient within maybe 4 to 5 minutes. And this is very useful in those patients who have extreme pain, who cannot lie down on a couch comfortably. So in those patients, 4 to 5 minute treatment, I think that serves the purpose. So, and then again, I'll come to like with this only machine, we can do like stereotactic radiosurgeries, in which, like for a brain, suppose brain there is a schwannoma and we want to treat that. So in that case, we'll prepare a mask around the head. These are the specialized masks. So initially, in the back into the time, we were using like the mask that we used to fix in the skull. Kind of, we'll do the burr holes and we'll fix in the skull. But nowadays, this is a non-invasive mask. We'll just prepare a mask around. It is like a thermoplastic sheet. When we'll heat it, it becomes very pliable. But after some time, it becomes very hard. So we'll make it around the head, and it will take the shape of it will take the external contour of the head, and it will fix the head in that particular position. So so in that scenarios, we can treat it with very high dose of radiation, because I'm comfortable and I'm sure that patient won't be able to move. So this data came when they compared the neurosurgical mask, that one in which they're doing the burr holes and fixing the mask, versus these kind of masks which are non-invasive. So there is no difference between the patient will not move during radiation or during gamma knife surgeries and those kind of things. So we are very sure with these kind of things, and
Mhm.
and we can give very high dose of radiation, like ablative doses, so that when the next time we'll do the scan, patient will be like hopefully will the disease free kind of thing. So they
Mhm.
have give us very good local tumor control. It reduces the side effects because the field sizes are very small, and they give the long term outcomes, and that are very comparable to surgeries. So
Right.
that's why they named it like radio surgeries, and
Mhm.
it's an ablative kind of treatment. Yeah.
Fantastic. So, learning so much. Good morning, Miss Sherry. So nice to see you here this morning. So, again, radiotherapy has advanced, allowing real time imaging to track tumor movement, which is amazing. Advanced planning software that improves accuracy, techniques that allow higher doses to tumors with greater protection of the normal tissue. And these innovations, again, translate to better tumor control, reduced side effects, and improved long-term outcomes. And lots of benefits there of the innovation, fewer treatment sessions, for example, less fatigue and fewer long-term complications for patients, faster recovery and return to normal activities. And again, radiation therapy is increasingly being used in curative, life extending, and palliative settings with greater effectiveness. So, treatments designed not only to treat cancer, but to preserve your quality of life as well. So, this multidisciplinary approach that we've heard to care is something that Health City Cayman Islands continues to focus on, where the radiation oncology is going to work closely in collaboration with other medical oncologists, your surgeons, your radiologists, your pathologists, and specialized nursing teams. And this team based approach has proven to be extremely effective and ensures comprehensive, personalized cancer care from diagnosis, my apologies, through treatment and follow up. So let's have a look now at the video tutorial, which really is going to be an eye opener.
My life was about building my dreams, growing in my career, and cherishing my family. Cancer was the last thing I expected. On January 7th, 2025, I received the most devastating news of my life, that I had cervical cancer. In that moment, everything shattered. Suddenly, I was not thinking about tomorrow's plans. I was thinking about death, about my son, about how I had to fight to survive for him, and reasons why this was even happening to me. 27. When most people my age were dreaming about their future, I was fighting for mine. The shock, the fear, the uncertainty consumed me. The road ahead was certainly uncertain, but I wasn't walking alone. I had God, my family, my friends, my amazing work family, and of course, my excellent team of doctors and nurses at Health City. They were all with me. Health City provided not only excellent treatment, but compassionate care in everything they did, and reminded me I wasn't just another patient. I was a person worth fighting for, and they were with me every step of the way. I view life differently now. Today, I say with confidence, I am cancer free. To anyone facing this fight, know this, you are not alone. Lean into your faith with God and never give up. Surround yourself with other cancer survivors, thrivers, and alivers. They know what it's like. They have helped encourage me with their own testimonies. Cancer tried to stop my story, but it didn't. Because of God's grace, I am still here.
Shine, unlike any other, something undiscovered.
Wow. Yeah, that's very, very impactful. So that young lady, what an inspiration to hear her perspective in life at such a young age. Being so positive and having the world-class treatment options available to you can certainly be encouraging. Really something. I was looking at some of the pictures, Shamari, and I recognize a young lady in there, which I'm thinking is probably her mom. So again, these are people we don't even know sometimes are going through these journeys. And so in recognition of World Cancer Day, I just want to just send out some positivity to everyone who has walked this journey in some form or another, and let them know that they're not alone. There's, a lot of people there, both the professionals to support you. Miss Lily is here in the comments. She's also, going through her own journey with cancer. And there are people here to support you and, reach out for help, reach out for medical advice. And it's nothing to be afraid of in terms of having the discussions and letting people know that you're dealing with this. Thank you so much. Doc, it was so lovely to see you again, almost 3 years later. So don't be a stranger.
Yeah, no problem. Thanks.
Yes, we absolutely need to see you more, Shamari.
No, definitely. And I was on mute again. And I was just saying, and that's why having Dr. Vikas and team, the full team here is so impactful, because a lot of times, depending on the tumor or depending on the type of disease you have, it's extended treatment. And, to go that journey a lot of times with just one other person or alone overseas can also be taxing on spiritually and mentally on patients. So actually being here and being able to have the majority of the treatment over an extended period of time for those that have to go through that with your support system, with your family, I also think definitely helps with the outcomes. And that's why we're so pleased to have Dr. Vikas and team, and thankful. And I've seen so many people, thank Dr. Vikas and team for being able to give them that opportunity now to stay on island and be able to have world-class treatment in regards to cancer care.
Yeah, fantastic. And we do have a comment here that is coming in from one of our listeners to the program. So let me just pull this up on screen to share with everyone as well. And this individual listening had the following to say. Thank you so much for sharing this with us. They said, good morning. I also had my cancer surgeries at Health City under Dr. Pooja's care, and I was hospitalized 28 days, but I'm still here. Thanks, Health City, continuing to care for your patients. Yeah, thank you so much for sharing that personal testimony with us. Awesome. All right. Well, thank you so much. Again, this is an amazing discussion. Folks, it's really all about educating yourselves and acknowledging these days that are celebrated again throughout the year. Health City takes the opportunity to inform the public of what, each sort of recognition day is all about. World Cancer Day being February the 4th, globally recognized as an important day for us to have conversations around cancers. Let's do everything that we can when it comes to prevention and reducing a risk. So we know what some of the top risk factors are, folks. Let's work on it. Let's see if we can, if you have, you're a smoker, there are smoking cessation programs in place, even at Health City and other facilities on island. Reach out to them and see how you can kick that habit. If you can kick the alcohol habit 90% of the time or more, then please do that as well. And of course, the weight, start walking like Shamari and improving the diet. And you too can shed 50 pounds. It's encouraging when you see other people do it, because you know that, I can do it too. So let's, do the things in terms of our diet that we know we should be doing to support healthier eating and getting a good moderate exercise at least 3 to 4 times per week. And then, Safinia, good morning to you too. And thanks so much for joining us this morning, the Health City Cayman Islands team. Have a fantastic day.
Awesome. Thanks, Andy.
Thank you.
Make sure it's lost.
Thank you so much. Shamari's happy about that. All right. So again, that video just gave me goosebumps, I'll tell you. I'm going to share that on social media a little bit later on, because, you know, those are the positive messages of resilience and surviving such a diagnosis and ordeal that we need to be sharing in the community. So we're going to switch gears here a little bit. How about we play a little commercial to break things up, and then we will be right back after these messages.
Recover Personal Injury Attorneys, helping injured people get what they deserve. Did you know that insurance companies have lawyers that represent their interests? Before signing and accepting any settlement, know your rights. Call us today for a free consultation at 924-9999. That's 924-9999. Recover. Your personal injury attorneys are on standby to assist.
In the mornings, no one wants to miss listening to the Cold Hard Truth or reading CMR. Cayman's #1 news platform has made your morning commute fun again. Pass this time with the Cold Hard Truth on weekdays from 7:30 a.m. Talk radio that's engaging, entertaining, and enlightening. But be careful. Some mornings it's so hot, you might run into a bit of trouble.
All right, folks, don't run into any trouble. Don't run into anybody else. I've got the videos here to prove how some of you are just horrific drivers. We got another one this morning, and the person was like, Miss Sandy, look at this hot mess. I was like, OMG. No, sir. Why are y'all driving like this? It is pretty wild. But of course, we, share the videos in hopes of educating people to say that, number one, we see you. Yes, you're being recorded. Number two, do better. I mean, here's a 43-second one I'm going to share with you guys here this morning. And the person who reported this poor driver was just like, they don't even know what's going on here. It's just crazy. Pretty wild. You know, this person was actually allegedly changing clothes, a hoodie, trying to take a hoodie off. And as a result of that, driving all over the place, about to lose control of their vehicle. And also, then they almost hit another car coming into the roundabout. I'm just like, what's going on here? Let's have a look, because I know sometimes it's hard to explain it, but when you see the video, you understand exactly what it is that I mean. So check this out. So here's the back camera angle. Now the person's driving, and oops, looks like her. There we go. You can actually see them trying to change their hoodie, their top. And so as a result of that, they're swerving all over the roadway. Listen, I'm going to back it up because I know it's wintertime. We get a little bit of Cayman breeze. Some of you guys feel compelled to put on a hoodie. Not a problem. But you know, when you get in the car, this has happened to all of us. I've done it before. You get in the car and you get a little bit warmer. And instead of turning off the AC, you think, okay, let me just take off layers of clothes. What I try to remember to do is to do that before you get in the vehicle so that you don't end up like this, where you're taking it off and you're swerving all over the roadway. Look at this. Like they literally, and this is an area there on West Bay Road, like they're passing the water company there, right? So this is coming into, I think, the Cost You Less roundabout. This is an area known for accidents. By the way, as they're passing, do you notice this car that's pulled up on the median in the middle? I don't know what happened there. If they broke down or if they were just there, they shouldn't be turning there. That shouldn't be a turning. Is that a turn lane? I don't kind of think it is. Maybe it is to get across the road. It's a bit odd. I must say I haven't noticed that turn there before, but I might have to go and have a look. But yeah, so now they're coming up. There's the start of Cost You Less building, and they're driving really poorly. So now they're coming into this roundabout, and look at what happened in the roundabout. Again, poor driving. This other colored SUV now looks like a burgundy SUV. Look at the two of them, near collision. Look at that. Had to swerve back over to avoid hitting the same car. My goodness. And then, of course, they quickly change lanes. Now they're speeding. So now they're changing from one lane to the next. And there you go. Speed demons. Yeah. I don't know what to say, but y'all need to really, a lot of this stuff is preventable, but people just don't seem to care. There's a degree of carelessness in our roadways. It's kind of sad, really, when you think about it, because you're jeopardizing not just your life, but the lives of other road users as well. Get it together. Seriously. All right. So thank you so much for those of you who have been sharing with me. First of all, let me do a big shout out to Trisha Jones. Today is Trisha's birthday. She is 48 years old, the beautiful Trisha. So happy birthday to Trisha, wishing you all of the best on your special day today. And if you know Trisha, wish her a happy birthday. Tell her you heard it right here on the Cold Hard Truth. So let's talk about the ongoing debate about the Super Bowl halftime show. First of all, I've never heard a Super Bowl halftime show have so much discussion. Even the one where we had the slip with Janet Jackson, that was Super Bowl, right? Where her and Justin Timberlake were performing and she had a little, breast slip. That was a lot of controversy back in the day. Kind of wild, but that, people talked about that for a hot minute. But this one, oh my gosh, this has gotten so much commentary. First of all, yay, it's now in the #1 spot for the number of views for any Super Bowl. Over 135 million views. They've done the calculations. And it's so funny because I posted that and I had people arguing with me in the comment section about, oh, no, that's not true. And I said, okay, so it's not true because you have facts that are going to state otherwise. I mean, come on. It doesn't not become true because you don't want it to be true. It either is or it isn't. And they actually have a pretty good formula for how they know how many people actually watching the Super Bowls and watching TV shows and so on, like how many people are tuned in. Cayman doesn't have that type of formula, but in the US they do. So they've actually put him anywhere over 135 million views. Some have it at 142.3 million, putting him in the #1 spot, followed then by the Kendrick Lamar show and Michael Jackson rounding at the top 3, and then Usher coming in for his 2024 performance right after that. And Rihanna being the top woman coming in at the #5 spot ahead of Katy Perry. So, some people are up in their feelings because the performance was not in English. And I'm of the opinion that, listen, I don't speak fluent Spanish, although I probably could have if I'd really put some effort into it. But what I do know is that whether you speak fluent Spanish or not, if you didn't walk away feeling a sense of pride and just listen, it really, and I had to go back and watch it because when I was speaking on yesterday's program, there were elements of it that obviously I missed. Like I missed the guys playing dominoes. Remember yesterday? I was like, wait a minute, there were guys playing dominoes? And yeah, the premiere was like, yeah, how did you miss that? It was full of a lot, and there were obviously things that I missed. And so I'm happy that I've went back now and watched it multiple times, honey chill. And every single time I watch it, I see something new, and I'm enjoying seeing something new. I didn't even see Cardi B in the video. Did you guys see Cardi B there? I didn't see Cardi B until after I watched it. And then I saw her, she's Dominican, and I saw her dancing and having a good time. I was like, what? Cardi B was there. Oh, you know who else is there? Jessica Alba. I was like, Jessica was there too? Oh my gosh. Yes, Jessica was there too. And she's amazing. And Jessica is, she's born in California, but I want to say that is her heritage Puerto Rican as well? I think maybe. I'll have to, okay, so she's born in California, Danish, Welsh, German, English, and French ancestry, Mexican. So yeah, they were children of Mexican immigrants. There you go. So I'm Mexican. So, right now, I think all of Latin and all of the Spanish countries are feeling a sense of really interesting times in the US for sure. Because, it doesn't matter which of the Latin American countries you're from or which of the South American countries you're from. In America, you're going to be targeted at the moment just because you speak differently, just because you have an accent, which is pretty wild and pretty crazy. So she was there on the stage dancing as well. I don't know if you guys saw her. And of course, we had the performers, and this was, a collaborative show because he brought on, what's her name? Lady Gaga. So she sung. Her song was in English. Those of you who are complaining you didn't hear anything in English, go and listen to the Lady Gaga segment. It was in English. We've got Ricky Martin. He was there. So it was an amazing performance. And as I'm watching it more and I'm learning more, all of the symbolism in it was amazing to me. Like, it was just like, wow, this is amazing. So I want to just show you some of the discussions that are happening across the US in particular, because, it's Americans that are up in their feelings. Someone showed me Zara. I'm trying to remember Zara something. She's one of those housewives. And, it was so funny because somebody commented, like, lady, please, it took 9 seasons for you guys to have any diversity on the housewife episodes show that you were in. I think she's New York. So they had no diversity in the New York Housewives for the first 9 seasons. They finally got an African-American on the show. I don't like this sort of overarching way that America has been going, the lack of diversity and, constantly trying to put down minorities and people of color, brown people, Black people, however you want to, categorize them. I really don't like it. It's not a good feeling. Not just because I'm a person of color. I feel like we're moving backwards in time instead of moving forward. And, there's too many people that have fought the civil rights movements. There's too many people that fought against slavery. There's too many people over the years that have fought against discrimination for us to be taking steps backward. And that to me is ultimately concerning. By the way, if your name is Josh McPherson Ebanks, your bank card has been found. So if anybody knows Josh McPherson Ebanks, your bank card has been found. So please reach out and we can tell you where to go and collect your bank card. Josh McPherson Ebanks. Bank card found. Thank you so much. Pass it along. Anybody knows Josh Ebanks? Let him know. Somebody found your bank card, honey child. Yeah. So, at the end of the day, it's just really, really alarming. And the things that people are so comfortable saying is kind of shocking to me. Like, I grew up in the States, yesterday I posted a message. I think a lot of you saw my response to the 1 or 2 negative Nancy's. You're going to be there no matter what. I mean, some people have nothing else to do. And so I had to really kind of chuckle that one person was like, oh, this is so rich that you're having these positive. It's like you're trying to do something positive and share some positive thoughts. And even in that vein, you've got people who are just going to be negative. It's just like, what? Like, are you people for real right now? But you've got to keep things in perspective. And I often check myself when I see some of what is circulating that falls into the category of absolute hate. I remind myself that, Sandy, look at the number of people. This was a post now that has gotten over 1.2 thousand likes, all positive. And so we had literally 5 people. I'm going to show you guys this because I think you're going to find this interesting. 5 people that laughed at it, including your brother, Clinton Ebanks. Clinton, all I can do is shake my head. Let me show you guys this, right? So, of course, the people who are laughing at it, they think it's funny that we're encouraging unity and diversity in our communities. So Clinton laughed at it. We had Chris. I don't even know who this Chris person is. doesn't live in Cayman look like? We had Debbie Ria Jaeger, whatever her last name is, who lives in Cayman Brac. And I think it's so rich that Debbie takes this perspective on the things that she does. Because again, you have been welcomed in a country, Cayman Brackers have welcomed you with open arms. And, you don't even want to welcome other people back in your country. You're not even in your country. You're here amongst Caribbean people, largely people of color in Cayman Brac. And y'all seem to have forgotten that. It's just crazy. And then I don't know who Victor Leon is, but he had a good laugh as well. And then Miss Olga. So 5 people out of literally 1.2 thousand people laughed at this message. Most of you loved it. You gave it a heart emoji, thumbs up. And there was lots of positivity. But of course, there's always that one. Clinton says, yeah, one nationality flag isn't there. You're going to get some flack for that. And so I don't really know what nationality he was referring to. I saw Shirley comment about that, saying that people who watched the halftime show never understood one word Bad Buddies sang or spoke. But isn't it amazing that language transcends? You don't have to understand a single word, Shirley. So whether you did or not, that's not even the point, because his message, in my opinion, has been the single most powerful message of all. And I'm going to go out here now on a limb, of all of the halftime shows that has in the whatever years that they've been, what match are they on number 60? It was still the most powerful. Imagine that. It wasn't even in English, but it was still the most symbolic and the most powerful. Oh, Debbie's no longer in, she's no longer there. Did she sell her place? Oh, she should have told me she was leaving. I might have tried to buy it from her. Anyway, lots of positive comments. Big shout out to Anne Briggs saying that it was a brilliant interpretive study of Caribbean culture. Absolutely. Like, some people didn't even, and thank you for recommending this book, by the way. I want to try and get a copy of it. She recommended a book called The Repeating Island, which she says is the Caribbean and the postmodern perspective, highlight the region's complex identity, culture, and historical fluidity. So I want to check that out. Thank you for making that recommendation. I'm going to give that a like. And so Soka makes mention of the flag, which I didn't even know about the controversy with the flag. So I'm going to share that with you guys here in just a second. And Ms. Cora says, I support this message. So lots and lots of positive messages here. Now, I'm going to respond to Clint because somebody else called me after the show yesterday. And they said to me, Sandy, they were wondering if there was some confusion between the Cayman and the Jamaican flag. And I thought to myself, why would there be, our flags don't look anything alike, first of all. So why on earth would there be confusion about that? But they were saying because they didn't see the Jamaican flag. Now, let me pull this up because, of course, I had to speak to Miss Stacy about this. I said, Miss Stacy, did you see? Because at the time I knew I had to go back and watch it. Did you see the Jamaican flag being represented? And she said, yes, the Jamaican flag was there. Now, I missed it, but I think depending on what angle you were looking at it from, and there's additional people who were there recording it, who've since come out with, footage from like the side angle and different stuff that wasn't necessarily in the production. They tried to capture, I think, as much as possible, but there was so much going on on that stage. So let me show you what the Jamaican Gleaner, I think it is, Observer, actually shared. And they shared the Jamaican flag actually being there. So I thought it was strange, I'll be honest with you, that the Jamaican flag would not have been represented. And so let me show you the video that they shared. And apparently the Jamaican flag was there because he actually mentioned Jamaica in his, give me 1 second here. I'm going to show you to you. He actually mentioned Jamaica in his, hold on 1 second. He actually mentioned Jamaica in the list of countries. And it was so funny because somebody said to me, Sandy, he actually knows more countries than the United States of America. I mean, he knows. Let me rephrase that. He knows more countries in the Americas than the president of the United States of America. And I had to chuckle because, you know, Trump is not a very educated man. He would struggle to list 5 countries. Right. So lots of pride, even from our Jamaican colleagues, where they were like, listen, we were mentioned. Did you guys hear him call out Jamaica's name? They were very, very prideful about that. And yes, the Jamaican flag was there. You may not have seen it, but we've got the pictures to prove that the Jamaican flag was there. So here's a lady on social media saying, did anybody hear Bad Bunny big up Jamaica, or am I tripping? Nope. Jamaica. Buenos dias. So of course you got a shout out. Of course you got mentioned. Jamaica is one of the big countries in the region. And so I'm going to show you where their flag was. Kaboom. There's a Jamaican flag right there. See it right there? That was the flag. Now, I am surprised at the production. Like I said, I was looking at it thinking, did they do this off-site? Because to get all that stuff, the stages, the multiple stages and everything, to get all of that on the field, the same field that they turned around and played on, I was like, how do they do that? Well, apparently even the blades of like the grass blades and stuff, those were actual people that walked onto the stage and were just standing up there. And he paid those. He doesn't get paid as a performer, but he makes sure that the people who are participating in the performers and just the blades of grass standing there, they all get paid to do that particular job. So here is, let me see if I can find it. I'm going to show you guys now the Jamaican flag in action. So here we go.
Guyana, Panamá, Costa Rica, Nicaragua, Honduras, El Salvador, Guatemala, México, Cuba, República Dominicana, Jamaica, Haití, las Antillas.
Yes, you heard it right there. Jamaica. Jamaica, there you are. And there's the flag. See?
Canadá, mi patria, Puerto Rico.
The Jamaican flag was there, proud and loud. So if you missed it, Clinton and others, I'm going to post this up for you because it was there. Look closely. Here we go. In fact, it was kind of close to the Cayman at one point. So there's Cayman right there. There's Jamaica. So the shot kind of changed over. There's the Jamaican flag right there, honey child. So do not worry. Jamaica was also represented. Somebody was also carrying the flag of Jamaica. I mean, I think he had every flag from the Americas in there, even Canada. Yeah.
Puerto Rico.
And we're going to talk about the other symbolisms in this, but I think it was important to acknowledge for those of you who missed it, saying, oh, listen, can we stop with the negativity for a minute? They're going to be all upset. Really? First of all, they were there. But to talk about the fact that, they're going to be all upset, I have not heard a single Jamaican complain about this at all. So, I think a lot of times we're just looking for a reason to be upset and in our feelings about something, and the facts don't even support it. So let me I did a whole response last night to these people, so I'm not going to rehash it because you can go on social media and you can watch these videos for yourselves. But I know that there's some people who don't necessarily have social media, who only listen to the radio. And so I want to, for the benefit of those listeners, just briefly address these two individuals. First, we had Miss Dorothy Chambers. Big shout out to Miss Dorothy. She's such a negative Nancy. I don't know who Miss Dorothy is and what she does, but apparently she had to get in the comment section. Her social media says she's from Jamaica. She had to get in the comment section and get really, really negative about the post that, like I said, got 1.2 thousand positive comments. And of course, she's got to be the one. There's always one or two And she has got to be one of the ones that just is coming with a bag of negativity. So here's what Miss Dorothy Chambers had to say. Happy to see this media house, which endorses injustice, segregation, and disrespect of others based on their culture and nationality, all actually got it right this time. Wow. Are we sure we're talking about CMR? Is Miss Dorothy for real? She has got to be someone who does not really pay attention to what happens here at all. I would challenge anyone, and I stand on this, to show me where we are endorsing injustice, segregation, and disrespect of others based on their culture and nationality. I guess that's why all of these marginalized and minority groups in the Cayman Islands are always inviting me to their events and love me so much because I'm segregating and disrespecting them. I don't think so. The Filipino community loves this platform. The Indian community, the Nepalese community. You guys don't know because, you don't know. But they're always inviting me. For years, the Filipino community has been inviting me to their annual Bayanihan event. And I go there and I get so much love from these people. It is amazing. Anywhere I go and I see Filipinos, Filipinas, they show me the most love of everyone. Miss Sandy, can we take a selfie? They're so positive. They're so nice. They're inviting me over to their homes to eat and break bread with them. And for the record, big shout out to Sunny D and the others. I have sat down at their table and I have eaten their food. And I want to hear about their culture. And they tell me, Miss Sandy, this is what we do. We come together, like one person is going to bring this dish and somebody else is going to bring this. It's like a potluck situation. And I said, yeah, we know about potluck. And I said, this is how, we sit down and we commune with one another. And, there's a lot that I understand and I know about their culture because they've shared it with me and because I listen and I pay attention. Like I know about the elders in the community who are very, very well respected and, how they tend to take problems. They want to keep it within the community and they tend to take their problems to the elders to see how, any disputes and stuff like that can be solved. But they also reach out to CMR on a regular basis to help them get some justice. You want to talk about injustice? They're one of the most marginalized groups in this community. There are a lot of people that take advantage of the Filipinos and Filipinas, and they don't feel like they have anyone that will look out for them. They come to me all the time for help. And I do my best wherever possible to assist them. So it's disappointing, Dorothy, that you, decided to come into the comment section. I've never actually seen you comment before. So I do think that it's interesting that I guess the one time you want to comment, it is so incredibly negative on a post that was trending for its positive message. But, there you go. You're always going to have the one or two people who, that's what they do in life. And that's sad. Only 3 people have liked her comment. And what I would say to someone like Miss Dorothy, because, you can't change people, right? You certainly cannot change what they say and how they think and that sort of thing. But what I would suggest to someone like her is to maybe just, I don't even know, unfollow the page. There's some things that just really bother us in life, and it doesn't matter what that person does, whatever, they're going to bother us because your soul is different than the vibe over here. Okay. And take that how you will. I'm not trying to be negative towards you, but what I'm saying is perhaps what you do is you just unfollow and then you don't have to worry about it. You don't have to worry about seeing anything on CMR that's going to be upsetting to you in any way, shape, or form. I'm just saying. And then there was another one on Instagram. So there was Miss Dorothy. And then there was another one on IG who came with a lot of misinformation on the same post, but on the Instagram side this time, talking about, the hypocrisy. Boy, y'all. Sandy's saying all of this as she just posted about 2 Cubans that escaped custody. Police on a manhunt with the helicopter searching and telling people to stay indoors, assuming all Cubans are violent criminals. It's not about space. And I'm like, what? How do y'all say some of the things that you say, like for real? Okay. When you go back and you look at the post that we actually made, and again, I challenge you to simply read with the viewpoint of trying to understand what it is that you're reading. Where in the original post about the Cubans being on the loose did it say anything about anybody being violent? This is what it said. This is the part, I guess, that they're referring to. Okay. It says that we're receiving multiple reports of a police helicopter overhead and officers on foot in the Windsor Lakes area. Residents in the vicinity are being told that the 2 Cuban migrants are reportedly on the loose. The 2 Cuban migrants are reportedly on the loose, and they should remain inside as a precaution. Where does it say? Tell me where in there it says anything about Cubans. All Cubans are violent criminals. It doesn't even say that those 2 men are violent criminals. All it says is the police are in the area. And we say this all the time when there's police presence, whether it's Cubans, Caymanians, whatever, just stay out of the way, right? A lot of people are out there. I get it. Of course I get it, because you guys send us the footage of the helicopter up in the sky and all this kind of stuff. Even accidents, we're like, just stay out of the way. You can work from a distance, you know. You don't have to be all up in the police business and whatever, because a lot of times you are becoming a hazard to even the investigation or them trying to find someone. So because residents in the area are being told to remain inside as a precaution, how do you go from that statement? You see, this is where people try to gaslight you, and they're so inflammatory with this foolishness, right? Telling people stay indoors, assuming all Cubans are violent criminals. Nobody made that assumption, and absolutely nobody said that. That is ridiculous. And again, if you look at the evidence, right, you know that these people are just trying to cause trouble, because the evidence will clearly demonstrate who has sat down more with Cubans and had conversations with them, trying to understand their plight and what it is that they have as an issue. How many shows have we had where we've invited Cuban nationals onto this show? The only ones who've ever done it. You can't point to a single episode on Radio Cayman. You can't point to a single Compass episode where they have sat down and had conversations to say, why are you guys so upset? What is going on here? Help us understand. But we have done that on this platform. Because in the words of Frank Covey, world-renowned, I think he's passed away now, but his sons have taken over the business. World-renowned, leader and thought leader. He said, right? Seek first to understand. Franklin is his name. Sorry, I think I got it wrong there. He said, first, my apologies. He was a coaching and most talented leader. And he's still alive? No, I think his son, Paul. Wait a minute. Stephen Covey, my apologies. But the name of the company is franklincovey.com. You can check it out. But he wrote The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. That's probably where most of you would have heard him from. Or heard of him, I should say. He said, seek first to understand and then be understood. Right? So if we can't understand other people, how do we expect other people to understand us? So we should lead with a spirit of trying to understand other people, because then that pauses the brakes on us just trying to push our position on other people. We have to stop, ask questions. I want to understand what's the problem here. What are you trying to say? And when it comes to the Cuban community, I can say without fear of contradiction that we're the only media house. So again, Miss Dorothy, you haven't been paying attention. And this is not just yesterday. This is going back for years. We have been the only media in Cayman that has tried to sit down and have those conversations. Remember when I've even had to call and say, who can interpret for me today? Because we have them calling in, but they don't speak any English. We need an interpreter. Those of you who've been following the platform for a minute know that I sit here and tell no lies, right? So whether it's Cubans, Jamaicans, whoever, we want to have these conversations because the one thing that I know as human beings, innately, we try to divide ourselves, and division is not going to be productive in any way, shape, or form. Now, let me be clear. He goes on to say other stuff about the welfare system, which is completely inaccurate as it relates to the Americans, right? So what people try to do is they try to conflate the issues, right? Oh, well, Sandy always speaking up for Caymanians and this and that. So therefore, because I speak up for Caymanians, that must mean I hate other people. No. You see, you don't understand how this works. I can be very pro-Caymanian, love my Caymanian people, stand up for them when they do the right thing, because y'all know I'm the first one to call out Caymanians before anybody else. Because we can't say that we want all these rights in our own country when we're not doing what we need to do. And so, yes, we need to step up to the plate. We need to stop being our own worst enemy. We need to stop destroying our country. So you notice, for example, when I talk about things like marriages of convenience, I understand the reason why people engage in marriages of convenience, but you know who I hold the most responsible for those situations? The Caymanian, not the foreigner, right? The foreigner is just looking for a leg up. And somebody sent me a picture yesterday of this old man, old Caymanian guy with this young, looks like a Filipina young lady or Latina, I don't even know. With her belly, kissing her belly, and the two of them are getting married. And they're like, oh, here, another old fool, and blah, 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 and then we start talking about the foreigners. I'm like, listen, people trying to better their lives has been happening from Adam and Eve, right? Yeah, I understand their objective. What I don't understand is what's wrong with him. Why he genuinely thinks that this woman, who's probably young enough to be his granddaughter, is really interested in him as a person. The chances of that are very, very slim. I'm not saying it's impossible, but it's pretty slim. She's just using him, and now she's got her baby on the way. Yep, she's going to secure herself. But I blame the Caymanians who put themselves in those positions to be used. So accountability runs the gamut, right? And because I'm pro-Caymanian does not mean that I'm anti anybody else. Now, what I won't allow is for people to come to this country and disrespect us. So I think you guys are very, very familiar with my position on this. So when we have people here who want to step out, foreign nationals, or sometimes they're not even here, they're in Jamaica, they're in Honduras, wherever they are, they want to step out and try to come at us and saying all kind of derogatory things about our national airline, about our governments, false information, or Caymanians hate Jamaicans, all that kind of foolishness. I don't tolerate the nonsense. So I'm going to put them in their place. But me putting them in their place doesn't mean that I'm sitting here hating on all Jamaicans, right? There's a lot of amazing people in every single culture and subgroup and community here, and Jamaicans are certainly no exception. Our ties, our heritage, the connection that we share is very, very deep. Lots of Caymanians actually their ancestors came from Jamaica or by way of Jamaica, including myself. My grandfather, roots right there in St. Elizabeth. So when I look at my 23andMe connections, I can see exactly where I come from. And all the connections in more recent history, yes, we go all the way back to Africa. But in more recent times, we've got connections to St. Elizabeth, Jamaica, the Bay Islands, and Belize. So it makes sense. And we are very diverse people as a community. There's going to be very few Caymanians that can sit here and claim that they're one thing or another. And I know that there's a lot of Caymanians who want to believe that they're so ultra white. And I chuckle at them when I hear them spewing this nonsense, because I'm like, really? Go do a genealogy test and you're going to see. Okay? So embrace who you are, embrace the diversity. Loving your own people doesn't mean that you have to hate on anybody else in order to show that love. Now let's have a look at some of the, like I said, ongoing controversy around the Super Bowl. And this one with Piers Morgan was very, very interesting.
Got up this morning and I watched it all without reading anything about it. I just thought I want to watch this completely clean without anyone's view contaminating my brain cells. And I watched all 15 minutes of it. And I've watched every halftime show going back 30, 40 years. I thought as a piece of theatre, it was the best I've seen. Just the most extraordinary kind of Broadway on steroids piece of theatre. I also thought it wasn't remotely divisive politically in the end. His Grammys speech was, but his performance, I thought, was actually a lot of things which I would have thought people on the conservative right would applaud. It was about love. A couple actually got married for real in the middle of it. He was preaching about unity, not just the United States of America, but the wider Americas. What was the problem, Megan?
A certain male gesture is coming to mind, but I'm not sure I can do it on this show. No, it wasn't about what he was actually going to do during the middle of the Super Bowl performance. It's about him. It's about him being chosen as the Super Bowl performer, somebody who's been an outspoken critic, of course, of the Trump administration and of America and our anti-immigrant policies. This is long before the current controversy over ICE. He doesn't want illegals deported from this country. Well, too bad, because the majority of Americans do want that and are not shy about pushing for it. And that's why President Trump got elected. So he and his little buddies over at Green Day never miss a chance to bash the United States of America. I think those medications for your hip have gone too far. We need to dial back a pill or two. Okay. We want something that we can all understand. I don't think Bad Bunny used his appearance to bash America, but I can't be sure because I didn't see any subcaptions on his Spanish language performance.
But what about Pavarotti?
They chose
What about Pavarotti?
two America haters.
What about Pavarotti, who Donald Trump in 2016 in particular would use at every campaign rally? He's used it at the RNC, right, as a triumphant, tub-thumping anthem. Well, no, hang on. Not only Pavarotti.
I've been to lots of Trump rallies. Pavarotti gets a song, maybe
but
two.
He sings, but when he sings Nessun Dorma in Italian, I don't see you leaping up and down and going, I can't understand a word of it.
The hypocrisy is real. Now, for those of us who are interested in the positivity of his message and the symbolism that was involved, like I said, I missed some of it, so I thought that this was something important that I could share with all of you. It was amazing to see different people who know the symbolism, and really, he put a lot of effort into that show. Like I said, by far the most production-wise show ever, halftime show. A lot went into it. And so here is some of what you may have missed if you don't know contextually what he was speaking about.
Specifically about the political references in this halftime show that really got me. So starting off, we're in the sugarcane fields of Puerto Rico, just diving right into the historical context of colonialism in the Caribbean, the history of slavery in the Caribbean, the exploitation of our land and our natural resources for the economic gain of the empire. Now we're in New York City, Nueva York. And then Benito just waltzes up to go take a shot with who? Toñita. Who's Toñita? This is a real Puerto Rican woman who lives in Brooklyn and owns something called the Caribbean Social Club, which is one of the last standing Puerto Rican establishments in Williamsburg, which has been a hugely gentrified neighborhood of New York City, which was always traditionally Puerto Rican. She herself has almost been kicked out many times, but refuses to sell. She's an icon of fighting gentrification in Nueva York. The part of the show that hit us Boricuas the hardest, Ricky Martin.
And let me read what he's saying here, because I again did not
the hardest.
Martin is actually saying they want to take away my river. This is what Ricky Martin was saying. They and also my beach. Yes, they want my neighborhood and for grandma to leave. No, don't let go of the flag. I'm just interpreting, or forget the liloli. Let me keep reading here 1 second. Lilolai, I don't want them to do to you what happened to Hawaii. So this is what Ricky Martin, I'm just going to back it back up here, but this is what Ricky Martin was actually singing. So the same things that we're talking about, like taking away our beaches or beach access, our land, we have to remember, and I hadn't really thought of this, to be honest, but we have to remember that Puerto Rico is actually a colony of the United States of America. So they don't have full rights as a state. And some Puerto Ricans believe that they should be fighting for independence. And so they've even made their original flag, which was a sense of their own independence and pride and whatever, they've actually made it illegal for them to even have that flag. Can you imagine? But let's keep listening.
Of fighting gentrification in Nueva York. The part of the show that hit us Boricuas the hardest, Ricky Martin.
Quieren quitarme el río y también la playa. Quieren el barrio mío y que abuelita se vaya. No suelte la bandera ni olvide el Lelolai. Que no quiero que hagan contigo lo que le pasó a Hawaii.
Ricky Martin from Puerto Rico just sang a Bad Bunny song saying, I don't want to happen to us what happened to Hawaii. A blatant call for independence and sovereignty and decolonization of Puerto Rico. And then we go straight into this. Actually simulated the problems with our power grid in Puerto Rico, which is a direct consequence of us being a colony, and the privatization of our power grid by the USA. Then Bad Bunny emerges from the fields carrying the Puerto Rican flag, but not just any Puerto Rican flag. This is the light blue Puerto Rican flag, which is the original colors. And this is the flag that they banned. And that we were only allowed to get our flag back when...
I mean, I had no idea that this even happened, but apparently the Puerto Rican flag was banned under the gag law, Ley de la Mordaza, or Law 53, which was enacted on June the 10th, 1948 by the U.S. Boy, wow. Didn't know they were such imperialists.
They changed it from light blue to that navy royal blue to match the blue in the American flag. But by waving this flag, this is our original flag, again referencing our own sovereignty.
A my motherland, mi patria, Puerto Rico. Seguimos aquí.
And ending it with Seguimos aquí, which means we're still here. Even though you're trying to colonize us and gentrify us out of our own island, Seguimos aquí.
So again, that interpretation and additional context of what all of those different things meant. Remember, during that hurricane, Puerto Rico was without power for like 6 months, and their mother country, the United States of America, just threw them a little bit of toilet paper and said, I guess, like, figure it out. They totally mishandled all of that. But here's another perspective again from the Latin American community. We have to lean to them because they know their history, they know their story, they know all the symbolism. So we lean to them to understand what all of this is all about.
Understand or speak Spanish to feel the joy and to feel the unity and the message of inclusivity that was there.
Yeah.
Of course, I've been going to Puerto Rico since I was a little kid, since my mother is from there. And it was such an homage to the island, La Isla del Encanto. Yeah. It was so beautiful to see the sugarcane in Puerto Rico, to see the pava hat. And, people kept on asking me, like, what is this? What were you wearing on Friday? This hat used to be worn by farmers in Puerto Rico, right, working the sugarcane fields. And it's just made from palm straw. Mm-hmm. But at some point, it was sort of, it meant poverty. But Puerto Ricans reclaimed it, and instead of it meaning like el jibarito, like the farmer, it means your connection to the land, to the island, and that's why we wear it with such pride. And then, you have men playing dominoes, you have the music, you have the casita. It was just joyful. And I think a very important political statement that was made is that the power grid in Puerto Rico has been a problem for so long. It's a problem historically. It's been corrupt. It's run by a company that doesn't own it, but the contract guarantees payment regardless if the electricity works or not. And so Puerto Ricans have the highest electrical bills in our country. And the grid goes down all the time. I was there for New Year's Eve. Grid goes out, and so I think the fact that he highlighted so many of the things about Puerto Rican culture and then all Latino culture, when the Latino community is under attack right now in this country, I think it meant not only a lot to Puerto Ricans, but to every Latino and every American as well. Yeah. So I was verklempt.
Yeah. It's just wild, and here is an appreciation. And I think this is where I have a lot of mad respect for this, is what it took to actually put this show on was nothing short of truly amazing. Like you could see it in the production, the final production elements of it was just like, wow, how did they do all of this? And here's a little bit of insight into how it was done.
A football field into a Puerto Rican landscape, launched nearly 10,000 pyrotechnics, and blessing a couple's union. Here's how Bad Bunny's incredible Super Bowl halftime show came to life. Each time in its nearly 60-year history, putting on the Super Bowl halftime show gets harder. While last year's Super Bowl with Kendrick Lamar had to grapple with bringing a gutted GNX onto a stage on sensitive turf, this year's hurdles related to recreating Bad Bunny's home of Puerto Rico at Levi Stadium's real grass field in under 8 minutes. The NFL's guidelines for this year wouldn't allow more than 25 carts to transfer equipment onto the field as they tear up the grass. To solve the problem, Bruce and Shelley Rogers, the legendary producers behind the halftime show for nearly 2 decades, came up with an idea, getting nearly 380 people to become sugarcane and other plants instead. Under their plan, the sets would be safely rolled out on 25 carts, equipped with turf tires. Meanwhile, palm trees and telephone poles would be rolled out in a similar way to how the streetlights were placed for Lamar's street scene from the previous Super Bowl. The team only had a few weeks to fabricate, source set pieces, and balance authenticity with logistical realities, Bruce Rogers told Wired. It was very dramatic and intense, but in the end, Bad Bunny did get to dance around the set he wanted, the casita, the vintage truck, and the Vega Baja feel, even if the plants were alive in a way he might not have imagined. Sunday's fiery arsenal was the biggest of any Super Bowl halftime show in the last 20 or more years. Bad Bunny's set required 9,852 theatrical pyrotechnics, like color, smoke, and fireworks. This includes the finale's massive Puerto Rican flags, which lit up the sky as the performers left the field. Oh, and about that wedding scene, it was a real couple. Bad Bunny has gotten hundreds of wedding invites from fans over the years, and he wanted to celebrate at least one couple's nuptials, Bruce Rogers says. Bad Bunny's performance comes at a markedly fraught time for America and American sports. The artist, who took home 3 trophies at the Grammys, has not performed in the U.S. as part of his current world tour over fears of ICE raids happening at his concert. But despite the opposition, Bad Bunny's show ended with a message of unity, scoring a touchdown and waving flags from all over the Americas. Shelley Rogers explains the performance as a way of saying, we're all the same, and we're all on this journey together.
All right. So again, I think it was a phenomenal show, and I congratulate them for putting it on. Bad Bunny, big up yourself. You really represented well. You did a phenomenal job. And, people don't understand what goes into it. There's other videos that depict really what they had to do to put this show on. And now he's in the #1 spot for the most live views of any Super Bowl. And I think that deserves a degree of mad respect for Mad Bunny. So big up yourself, Mad Bunny, and thank you for representing your own country and, of course, all of the region as well, because we do have very, very similar stories, of colonization, of gentrification now, of people trying to tell us that we can't go to our own beaches and what we can and can't do in our own country. We are so welcoming. The mad part about it is we're so welcoming of other people like Jake Paul, who, was trying to come at Bad Bunny, with one of his stupid Super Bowl tweets. And then he had to backtrack. And the crazy thing about it is Jake Paul is one of those people who moved to Puerto Rico in order to get the benefits of not paying any taxes. And then you go there and you're trying to tell these people who they are and, you know, how they should live. And, you know, it's like, dude, come on. Yeah, I think even his own brother end up calling him out, which should say a lot about him. Like, dude, really? It's just madness. Like, everybody wants a platform these days. Everybody wants to try to have something to say. And so Logan Paul says, I love my brother, but I don't agree with this. Puerto Ricans are Americans, and I'm happy they were given the opportunity to showcase the talent that comes from the island. And, you know, he responded to his own brother on, I think that was like Twitter or X or whatever the platform is called these days. So good for Logan. You know, we have to stand up for what is right, even when it comes to speaking out on our own family members who are trying to be divisive. You know, I've been there, done that. I remember a particular cousin by the name of Sherry Ann many, many years ago stopped talking to me for like years because she was talking negatively about the Filipino community. And I dared to call into Radio Cayman. This was way before Mall Road existed. So as I'm telling you, if you guys don't know me, you can say all kind of foolishness, but I have facts, right? And I remember because she thought her boyfriend at the time was having a relationship with a Filipino lady. Turns out it was a Honduran lady, not a Filipino lady. But anyway, you know, she was calling in saying, oh, they're all criminals and they're all showing up on the court list and this and that and blah, 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 blah. And I called in and actually defended them saying, first of all, that's factually not correct. And secondly, they're the least, and this was probably a good 20 years ago. I'm like, they're the least of what's on the court list. So, I mean, if we're going to try to say something about an entire group of people, the entire nationality, at least have it be 50% accurate. And it wasn't even 50% accurate. I'm like, what is she talking about? That's not true. And so I called in and I said, no, that's not true. And we shouldn't be hating these people who have traveled halfway around the world and they're away from their family. I understand from a human perspective why they stay together as a community. You know, similar culture. They want their own food. They want their own language. Listen to me. Caymanians go to Tampa back in the day. I was telling you guys when I toured University of Tampa, oh, we've got a Caymanian wing. And I'm sitting here looking at the lady going, thanks for the tour. But at this point, I'd already lived in the United States of America for 10 years. And low key, I was like, why would Caymanians want to travel abroad and then all stay together on a wing at university? I'm like, huh? Why would you do that? Why wouldn't they want to be out there mingling with other people? And then, you know, maturity in life. I was only, 17 years old at the time. And I thought that was weird. But then I got it later on. I'm like, okay, I get it. You're away from home. Back then, I guess Tampa was still far. You know, Kevin Airways had already opened the route, but, you know, Tampa was still far away. And so, yeah, everybody wants to be around their own people. You know what I'm saying? When y'all travel, what do you look for? Oh, where can I find Caribbean food? Where can I find a curry chicken? And if you can't find any Caymanians on campus, then you do the next best thing, which would be Caribbean people. So if you can find Jamaican people, you're going to link up with Jamaican people, right? If you can't find Jamaican people, you're like, okay, who else we got in the Caribbean? Barbados, Trinidad, and Trinidad in the house. You know, so it is human nature, quite frankly, to want to be around the familiar, around people who speak our language, who speak our dialect, who understand us, who understand our desire for a little bit of curry chicken and you know, whatever, who understand fritters, right? And that's what we do. Most of us don't want to get out of our comfort zone and try to explore other people, other cultures. Even when we travel, we're still looking for the familiar. Gabby says Kendrick Lamar speaks English. And last year they were complaining that they couldn't understand him either. They just wanted a white performer. What a hot mess. Sia says, guess what would happen if Puerto Rico became independent of the United States? Chances are it'd be invaded by another country of power. Yeah, the United States would turn around and invade them. I'm just saying. That's exactly what Trump would do. Mm-hmm. Dean Shillette says, what's prohibiting Puerto Rico from getting their independence? I don't know enough about it to actually answer that question, to be honest. I don't know enough about it. And I don't know how many Puerto Ricans we have in Cayman. I don't think I've ever really met any Puerto Ricanos here. But, you know, yeah. I don't know much about it. Mm-hmm. Anyway, it is what it is, folks. You know, we navigate this world, I guess, the best that we can. And so it's a hot mess. We've talked about this halftime show more than we've spoken about what was her name? Ghislaine Maxwell and the Epstein files, which, by the way, she was invited to speak on Monday to answer questions during a deposition before the House Oversight Committee, and she refused to do so. She pled the fifth or whatever and refused to answer any questions. This is a woman who's already in jail, but has had her jail sentence upgraded, her location upgraded, thanks to the current president of the United States of America, Donald Trump. Mm-hmm. So she refused to answer any questions. And there you go. The world that we live in, honey child. So yeah, Mr. Dean, I don't know enough about that to be comfortable, you know, giving an opinion even, because I just don't know. I don't know if any Puerto Ricans are listening that might want to weigh in on this. But I think that from what I have heard, they are very, very pleased with the, you know, the Super Bowl show. They're pleased with Bad Bunny and his representation of their culture and what was put out there for the world to see. I think that that's what matters. It's just sad that, you know, at the end of the day, he's an American and 73% of Americans didn't even know that Bad Bunny is an American. I guess they don't even know that Puerto Ricans are Americans. Pretty wild. Anyway, good luck to you, America. And we have people right here in the Cayman Islands going around neighborhoods, trying to break into neighborhoods. We'll post some of those a little bit later on in the Windsor Park area. I think most of these people, you know, unfortunately, who are engaging this kind of behavior on drugs. And, you know, it's pretty wild what they're up to, but they're not slowing down, trying to steal from people. So make sure that you lock your vehicles. And I'm talking about Caymanians now, for the record. So next y'all will be posting that, oh, she don't like Caymanians. Okay, y'all will be fine. But most of these people are Caymanians, and they are going out there doing the most, embarrassing us as a people, and yeah, can't get themselves together when it comes to the whole drug situation. And they're breaking into your homes, breaking into your cars, stealing things on your front porches. And so you got to secure your things as much as you can. You know, lock the doors, because they'll rummage through and take whatever they possibly can. What a hot mess. All right, folks. Let me just have a quick look here. Hunger is killing me. Oh gosh, is it because of the bill? Oh Lord, have mercy. Let me see. Yeah. Ooh, but look at where you going to eat, girl. $10 omelet. Yep. Scallions, mushrooms, all the. Girl, you could have gone across the street to the cafe shop and probably got that omelet for cheaper, all inclusive. So what's the $10 for? Just the eggs? Well, I tell you what, it's not any cheaper in America these days, because every time I go there and I get a bill, I'm just like, what am I paying for? That price is for what? No, sir. Ugh, what a hot mess. What this one is now? This Peg Estes. I don't know where these people come out from. It may be brilliant for you, but it leaves a very bad depiction of the cultures noted here. Have you listened to the words of his songs that were sung? Please review the actual words and then come back and tell me how proud you are that this is what you want to depict your culture. Like, seriously? These people just, it's so, I don't know who Peg Estes is, but again, these people are not even Caribbean people. Like, I don't even know what their problem is, quite frankly, or Latin Americans or whatever. But boy, they have some very interesting things because, you're arguing about, and again, I don't really know Bad Bunny, so I'm not here to defend him or his lyrics because I don't actually, I know of him mostly because of Trump. Trump has made Bad Bunny like off the chain popular, but I don't know Bad Bunny's music, and so, but I tell you what I do know is you can't get any more disgusting than when you talk about liking underage children like Kid Rock. So yeah, why aren't you guys up in arms about that? Why don't I see you commenting about, that MAGA concert, and why would they have Kid Rock, who has said in his songs how he doesn't want legal children. They have to be underage girls for him to be attracted to them. Like, I don't hear y'all talking about that. So I'm like, what? Come on now. That doesn't offend you? But you're worried about Bad Bunny. And again, I don't know exactly what Bad Bunny is saying, but it's like, say what now? Right? The things that offend me is when you go, and by the way, speaking of him and his halftime show, lip syncing off key, wasn't even in sync. The point of lip syncing is it's supposed to sync so that people can't really tell you're lip syncing. But his lip syncing was so off that everybody knew that he was lip syncing. Poor Ting. What a hot mess, Nosa. Anyway, y'all are not up in your feelings about the fact that, he likes underage girls and he sung about it. You're not up in your feelings about what Trump has said. Thank God it's 9:30, because y'all know I want to tell y'all the cold hard truth, and it's kind of hard sometimes because I can't replace certain words. Trump has said he wants to grab women by the pum pum, and y'all not upset about that. Who does that? Okay, he's admitted to sexually assaulting and raping women. And if you read the Epstein files, you see he apparently likes young children. He's actually said in his own words, 12 is a good age. And you have made him president of the United States of America, and y'all defend him. So what is it that you're complaining about with Bad Bunny? What words did he not use? Okay, you talking about, oh, you're not proud of that? Well, you sure are proud of President Trump, and he's a pum pum grabbing idiot. So really, y'all are majoring in some minor shit when it comes to this stuff. But it just shows how prejudiced you are because you like Trump, because he represents, I guess, what you want him to represent, what you believe. You're okay with looking at all. You guys are taking the red flags around him and trying to color them pink or blue, pretending like, no, this man is not a pedophile, that he's not a child molester, that he's not, a rapist. A woman sued him for sexual assault and won. How do y'all get to ignore that? And then when he went back and tried to say all kind of foolishness about the woman, she sued him again, and the court said, you need to stop because you're going to have to pay her money. How do you ignore all of that and then hyper focus on Bad Bunny and what you claim you don't like about his songs? Well, I don't hear nothing about Bad Bunny out there touching people's children. I don't hear him grabbing people by no pum pum. So what's the problem? In fact, someone was showing how at the Grammys, he was very, very reserved. Like when he's around other women, in a professional setting, he's keeping his hands obviously in front of him to himself. He's not trying to hug up these women. He's not trying to touch them. He's being very, very distant to try to be respectful so that nobody tries to interpret that. Because, of course, y'all know you'd be jumping on that. Oh, no, he put his hands around somebody. Oh, my God. You don't see Trump doing that. He be slobbering all over people, trying to kiss his own daughters. He sexualizes his own children. And you guys think that somehow that's okay? No, sir. Y'all disgusting. I'm sorry, but I can't support this nonsense. No, sirree. No. Nope, and nope. Oh my God. Unbelievable. Here, this one woman about, I've always viewed Cayman Islands through my visits as a very Christian country. Shut the fuck up. That being said, I find it unsettling that they would support the lyrics that were sung. Woman, you don't even know nothing about his lyrics. This is not about where you were born. It has nothing to do with racism and hate. Sure, it doesn't. This is standing up for Christianity and Jesus Christ, who gave his life for us. Okay, Americans, please. Y'all are very, very selective Christians. Okay, the music and dancing were over-sexualized, is what she says. Seem like something you would see inside them and Gomorrah. I am just confused on what the country, your country, actually believes. Let me say this. You know what is so crazy about these same so-called Christians? When they took the slaves from Africa, right? And we had, as Africans, our own dances. They did strip us from our language, from our dances, from all of that. And the same excuses, the same Bible, the same Christianity, like, oh, you can't dance like that. Okay, so let me try to understand how this worked, right? These poor Africans, that was what they knew. That was their history. That was their language. That was their culture, their dance, their everything. You strip that of them because, it's too sexualized. It's too this, it's too that, whatever. And then your fathers, brothers, all the slave owners were brutally raping the poor slaves on the plantation, both men and women, on a regular and daily basis. And yet you guys are the epitome of what it means to be Christians. Help me understand now how this works. You guys have an atrocious history, America. Y'all need to stop it. So she claims, Sia is saying the same thing that she did. You're talking about an old song he sang when he was 18 years old. Sia, do you think it matters? If an 18-year-old enjoys underage children, and you don't understand as an 18-year-old that you don't have a moral compass, and I don't think he was 18 years old, but let's give him the benefit of that because she claims it was 20 years ago. Well, how old is Kid Rock now? He must be about 50, 60 years old. So 20 years ago, he was not 18. Let's fact check it. I'll tell you exactly when he sung about underage girls. When did Kid Rock? Hold on. Let's find out exactly how old he was. But this, for me, is a matter of semantics. Because if even as an 18-year-old, if you don't have a moral compass that you appreciate people who are your own age or, at least a little bit older, that you have to go with little children, there's something wrong with you. All right, so it comes from his song, 2001 song called Cool Daddy Cool, which includes the lines, young girls, young ladies, I like him underage. See, some say that's statutory, and I say that's mandatory. So let me tell you that he would have been 30 years old, Sia, when he sung that, not 18. A 30-year-old man. You see, this is where y'all be trying to come for me with your nonsense and your lies. And I'm going to put it here for everybody to see. He was a 30-year-old man, not an 18-year-old. But even if he was an 18-year-old, he admits in his lyrics. Some call it statutory. It is rape. Not just calling it statutory. It is sexual assault. It is rape of a minor, which is completely illegal. And as a big hardback 30-year-old, not 18-year-old, here was Kid Rock singing about it. Now come again and tell me how you're going to excuse what this man has done. See ya, I'm going to sit here and wait for you to come up with another response that in your head will allow you to justify men going after little girls and being attracted to little girls, including your president of the United States of America. Crickets. That's all I can hear right now is crickets. You put out misinformation out there in hopes of trying to convince people that we can ignore, what Kid Rock said. And yet you want to castigate supposedly Bad Bunny for what he is saying? Y'all need to come better. Because this gaslighting, foolishness, and misinformation just is not working on me. Yeah. Because I'm going to start, like I said, I'm going to start fact checking you all. Mm-hmm. My God. What a mess. I tell you what. I can't even. I cannot even. Y'all need Jesus. And I don't mean a fake Jesus either. Alfred Real says colonial Christianity often condemned African culture expressions as too sexual because autonomous joy, identity, and bodily freedom threatened systems built on ownership, domination, and dehumanization. Mm-hmm. They always found a way. Gabby says, no hate like Christian love, boy. CJ Cooper says, well, same standard then. Have you heard the new songs of Bad Bunny? Nothing close to what he used to sing. By the way, I have a hate-love situation with Bad Bunny music. Like I said, I don't listen to his music, so I can't tell you anything about it. I'm not really his demographics, but I'm going to be honest with you. I'm trying to find a video. I saw it once, and man, I really wish I downloaded it. But it was a video talking about music from like the 20s and 30s, right? So this guy walks into his daughter's room and she's listening to some of the rap songs of today. And he's like, why are you listening to this vulgarity? This music is so nasty, blah, 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 blah. And evidently, then she's like, oh, okay, let me listen to some 20s music. If you heard the songs from the 20s and 30s, let me tell you something. The vulgarity, they wasn't hiding nothing. There was no standards back then on what could be played on, because they weren't really playing on the radio, but these were like songs and clubs or whatever. They were straight up using the P word, the D word, the everything. And I'm like, do people not know music history of these old songs? Because I thought, although it was a comedic, let me tell y'all something. Although it was a comedic reference here, it was actually real songs. And so when the guy was like, when his daughter's like, okay, well, I'll play this song from the 30s. At the end, he's like, you know what? Go back to playing your modern day songs. Because those songs were the epitome of vulgarity. Like, grab you by the pom pom was nothing to them. So what I will say is, certainly depending on the type of history or music that you like, even Caribbean music, y'all talking about Sandra, give me a piece of your Julie Mango and all kind of thing. What y'all think they're talking about? There's always been, some of it is more overt than others, but there's always been a degree of vulgarness if that's the kind of music you're into. You get to pick and choose. Right? So all the twerking and the jerking and whatever, that ain't nothing new. But if you're not into that kind of music, if you want your good old time gospel songs, then you have the freedom to listen to your good old time gospel music. The young people are going to be attracted to different types of music, yes? What are you going to do? Right? Everybody likes a different vibe when it comes to music. So, I'm just like, look, does Kid Rock epitomize your Christian values? I hope to God not. Have y'all looked at him? He looks like he's drunk 24/7. Let's talk about some of his. Okay, you guys put him on a Christian television network promoting values-based patriotic event being highlined by Kid Rock. Okay? His body of work has never had any Christian messaging in it. Let's talk about the facts. He has done songs like Balls in Your Mouth. What kind of balls? They wasn't pickleballs, honey, child. I'm just saying. Balls in Your Mouth. Cruising through town in my jacked up truck. Eyes open because I'm scoping for a big blinkety blink. Big butt SLUT. Fill it in. Okay? And have her suck my fill in the blank D word and put my balls in her mouth. That's from American Badass. The song is called I'm American Badass. Okay? Y'all need to go listen to the lyrics because I'm even embarrassed to listen to these lyrics. You can suck my blinkety blink. I'm a porno flick. I'm like Amazing Grace. Hear his lyrics now. Pay attention. Pay attention, y'all so-called Christians. I'm gonna blank some toes after I rock this place. These lyrics aren't obscure. They are mainstream, publicly available, and representative of a catalog that has now been elevated as faith adjacent. Y'all Christians need to pause and recognize that what is happening here is you guys have a level of hate. You would rather take a white country hick selling about putting his balls in somebody's mouth and them sucking his privates very, very blatantly in his lyrics than poor Bad Bunny. I think Jesus said it best in John 18:36. He says, my kingdom is not of this world. Matthew 6:24. Y'all want to hear some gospel this morning? You cannot serve two masters. So y'all want to take Christianity and dress it up as patriotism and advance your political agendas while standards are quietly being abandoned because someone is useful. If you look at scripture, since y'all want to claim that you're Christian, Trump, the man already telling y'all he's not even getting into heaven because he knows what a friggin' devil he is. Right? The scripture calls this hypocrisy. What did Jesus said in Luke 12:1? Beware of the yeast of the Pharisees, which is hypocrisy. And Paul described the same kind of performative faith in 2 Timothy 3:5, having a form of godliness but denying its power. So patriotism is not the gospel. Politics is not the kingdom of God, and Christianity is not a marketing strategy. Y'all need to look very, very closely when you want to talk about family values and try to use that language. Because I tell you what, it collapses under basic scrutiny. People notice. The man who's been divorced how many times has had how many children out of wedlock, has cheated on every single wife. Y'all want to talk about he is faith aligned, that he's a Christian man, that he represents your values? I'm talking about President Trump now. Forget about Kid Rock for a second, because he more concerned about having his balls in somebody's mouth. Y'all need to get it together, because it just don't make no sense. He is the farthest thing from being a Christian. In fact, there's some people who believe this dude is Antichrist, because he's managed, just like the good devil when he was an angel, he has managed to confuse the masses. And it is really, really shocking. But there you go. That's what y'all are supporting. That's what you're in favor of. What a hot mess. By the way, speaking of concerts and languages we do not understand, I am planning to go see, what's our friend's name? Pavarotti? No. Oh, hold on. I was just going to get my tickets. Let me tell you. Hold on. I'm paying for my tickets today. And he's going to be performing in Italian. I don't speak a lick of Italian. Just for the record, I will not be understanding a single word that he has to say. But one thing I know, this is Bocelli. My apologies. Andrea Bocelli. I'm going to go see him for his 30th anniversary performance. Cayman Airways, hook me up with some tickets. His Romanza 30th anniversary world tour. I will be there watching, and I'm not going to understand a single word that he has to say, and still I'm going to enjoy every single minute of it. I am going to love it. And it'll be just fine. I'm just saying. As a matter of fact, let me go tick off my little tickets right now. Yep, won't be understanding anything, but it's going to be an amazing concert, and I'm going to love it. Lord Jesus. CJ says, my comment is answering CO, whoever that person is, trying to defend Kid Rock's song with what he sang. It's just ridiculous, CJ Cooper. K-Man Maryland says, pow. Give it a kaboom, honey chan. Alfred Real said, Julie Mango. I prefer Nam Duck, to be honest. Two wrongs don't make a right, says Tartarian. No, two wrongs don't make a right. But when you have wrong that is in your face, and those same people refusing to acknowledge it, refusing because it does not fit their agenda and it does not fit their position. This isn't about two wrongs don't make a right. This is about how they will ignore and rewrite history to suit their convenience. That's what that's about. I don't even know who her name is Lucille Bogan, sang very vulgar songs, quite shocking to say at least. I don't know who she is, but I bet you she's probably from the 1920s era, 1930s. CS says at his private halftime show, he was allowed to perform it as he wanted. My God, y'all just make up any kind of shit when you're ready. By the way, Bad Bunny was so amazing that even at President Trump's party, guess what they were playing? They weren't playing Kid Rock. Nobody wanted to see that shit. Lip syncing, can't even sing. They were actually playing Bad Bunny. Isn't that ironic? Now that is where you're like, bop, bop. That's amazing. That's what his white friends wanted to see. They wanted to see how to do some twerking, child. Because the next time they go to a party, they might want to learn how to do a little something, something. Alfred said, for the Christian hypocrites, I know your works, that you are neither cold nor hot. Yes. Tell them, honey child. Give them some scripture. I could wish you were cold or hot. So then, because you are lukewarm and neither cold nor hot, I will vomit, spew you out of my mouth. Revelations 3:15 through 16. What a hot mess. Christine Koch says, tell them to listen to the Pussycat song from back in the days. Child, I'm telling you, some of these songs, like I said, I gotta find that one video because it like did a whole bunch of them together and it was so impactful. I was like, what the hell am I listening to here? Lord Jesus. I'm gonna find that video again because I really should have saved it because I was like, Rasclot, what is? Oh my God. Anyway, y'all need to get over it. Big up yourself, Bad Bunny. Again, 135 million views. And you want to see something really, really funny? As of 15 hours ago, these were the current estimates. And this kind of made me low-key chuckle on how popular or not popular your Kid Rock performance was. Even the Puppy Bowl got more views, double the views that Kid Rock. Go puppies! Yay! Woof, 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 woof. Oh my gosh, so funny. The dogs outperformed Kid Rock in terms of live views. That's where it's at. The annual Puppy Bowl. They're so cute. Miss Anita says, and those people that listen to opera, how many really understand the language it's sung in? Not a single one, honey child, please. They ain't understanding nothing. Someone says another point that should be made is many people go listen and watch opera, same thing, and don't understand the words. Exactly. Yes. Good morning. These are some banned songs from the 1940s. Ooh, okay. Don't let the children listen. They should be in school anyway. But I'm sure this is going to be good. And if you're extra sensitive to vulgarity, you probably don't want to listen to these songs from the 40s either. But thank you so much, astute listener. You get an A+. Let's listen to these.
Ladies, here's another cautionary tale. Don't listen to me and your marriage might fail.
Aye.
If you and your man get into a quarrel, calm him down with a little bit of oil.
Yes, sir.
You know it isn't gonna suck itself, so get on your knees
Oh, my
and get some help. Put it in your mouth, oh, lickety-split. It's
Yes,
up to
my
you
God.
if you swallow or if you spit.
I'm even blushing. No, sir. I can't even. No. I can't even. Like, what? What the hell? Lord Jesus, take the wheel. And they were not that uncommon. I'm just saying. So y'all will be just fine. The beauty of it is you can choose, pick, and refuse. If you don't want to listen to it, then you ain't got to listen to it. It's as simple as that, right? I was even blushing listening to that one. I was like, what? You got to give your man oral to keep him happy? Oh my God. What the hell is this woman saying? Lord Jesus. Y'all be just fine though. Because you just don't listen. If you don't want to watch Bad Bunny, just don't watch it. Go watch stupid Kid Rock who can't sing and who's lip syncing like a damn fool. Did y'all see the people trying to dance at the Kid Rock performance? Lord, y'all can't dance either. Y'all ain't got no rhythm. You look like a bunch of idiots. You're like Trump. That's the best he can do. I'm like, what the hell? Sophia said, that's the half, Sandy. Hello. I gotta find that video and play it one of these days, because when I tell you that was next level, I'm not joking. Yep. Anywho, oh my goodness, my apologies. I'm gonna go because I've got some appointments and stuff today. Gigi's got to go to the eye doctor because look like she's been squinting a little bit. Lord Jesus. So we might have to get her sorted out with some specs. This one says vulgarity and vanity. Thy name is felon Donald Trump. Ooh, let's read this one. Oh. Oh my gosh. Interesting. Anyway, I remember when well, I wasn't there, but when poor Elvis was out there twerking his hips and stuff. Oh, y'all were fainting. Oh God, oh, the hips when he was doing his little dance and gyrating. Oh God, burn his tickets. Y'all can't go to that concert. Oh Lord Jesus, you're gonna make those girls open up their legs. Yeah, okay. I think they were already doing that, but all right. Y'all were just pretending. What a hot mess. Michael Jackson, he been gyrating for years, grabbing his manhood too. I like when during that Pierce Morgan interview. Oh, he was grabbing like the way I can't really. Were you complaining when Elvis was doing it? When you were complaining when Michael Jackson was doing it? Get over yourselves, people. Really and truly. Good morning, Miss Ann. How are you? All right, beautiful people. That's all I got. I was supposed to be in court this week. I was supposed to have that one trial start, but as is typical, it got put off. So I don't even stress myself about these things anymore. I just show up whenever they tell me to show up. So I'll let you guys know when the date is reset for. I think we're supposed to have one trial this week and then the other one later in the month. I'm supposed to make my first appearance. So I'll let you know when that happens. And yeah, whatever. We just go with the flow around here, honey child. We'll be winning the two of them to praise the Lord and hallelujah. We'll be naming that, claiming it and naming it. And I'll let you guys know when I drop my lawsuit on their backsides. And yeah, that's about it. So somebody sent me a video asking me to help locate this person selling goods illegally, coming from Jamaica to disrespect our local community by talking down on us when no one forced him to jump on a plane to come here. Low key, I'm sick and tired of the Jamaicans doing that. And they're only doing it because we're giving them the attention as well. So I kind of feel like maybe we need to stop giving them the attention. Ignore them, and then they will have no reason to do it. But yet he's out here in the street trying to sell fake Nike shoes and stuff like that. What you gonna do? I don't even know. Just a bunch of ridiculousness. Beautiful folks, tune in tomorrow. Tomorrow's Wednesday. Got a special guest coming in. You guys are gonna want to hear this one for the first part of the show. Have yourselves an absolutely beautiful and gorgeous Tuesday. Work hard, because there's nothing beats working hard and working smart. And we will catch up again on tomorrow morning. Okay, until then, be good at it, and we'll see you tomorrow.
Thank you for tuning in to another episode of The Cold Hard Truth on Bobo 89.1 FM. Cayman's #1 talk show is live weekdays from 7:30 a.m. Never miss an episode again. Watch anytime on CMR's Facebook and YouTube channels for the latest show episodes. Don't forget to follow us online on our social media channels. And visit CaymanMarlRoad.com for all the latest news and community happenings.